Lesson 4-2, Multiplying Decimals. The main idea of this lesson is to be able to multiply decimals by decimals. Here's our first example. 4.2 times 6.7. Since both of these numbers have the same number of digits in them, it doesn't matter which one we put on the top and which one we put on the bottom. So I'm gonna put them in the same order that they're written in. 4.2 times 6.7. And we're going to go through and multiply. Notice I just lined them up so that they all lined up over here in the right hand column. So I'm just going to go through and multiply. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 is 29. So I'm going to put, and now when I go to multiply the 6 here, I need to move over. I'm not going to put numbers here. I'm going to start writing my first number here. 6 times 2 is 12, so 2, carry the 1. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 1 is 25. And now I'm going to go through and I'm going to add these two sets of numbers together. 4 plus 0 is 4. 9 plus 2 is 11. 1, carry the 1. 5 plus 2 is 7, plus 1 is 8. And 2 plus nothing is 2. And now we're going to go through and we're going to figure out how many place values we need to move the decimal point over. There's one number to the right of the decimal here, and there's one number to the right of the decimal here. So that means in all we have two numbers to the right of the decimal point. So that means in our answer down here we need to move the decimal point over twice. 1, 2. So our answer goes right here. And so the answer to 4.2 times 6.7 is 28.14. So we just lined our numbers up. We went through and I multiplied the 7 by each of the numbers, and then I put a little X here so I remember to move over one place, and then I multiply the 6 by each of the numbers, and then I end up adding this set of numbers to this set of numbers to get this down here. Count up the number of decimal places, and that tells me how far over I need to move my decimal point. Let's take a look at another example. 1.6 times 0.09. It doesn't really matter what order we put these numbers in, but one thing to notice here is there's only one number that we're actually going to have to multiply here. The rest of these are zeros, so we might actually want to put this number on the bottom. So I'm going to write 1.6 times, notice I'm going to line this up like this, 9, 0, decimal point, 0. And now I'm going to go through and multiply. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14. And then I don't need to multiply all these zeros now. Now I just need to figure out how many places I need to move my decimal over. Here we have one number to the right of the decimal point, and here we have two numbers to the right of the decimal point. So I count that all up, 1, 2, 3. That tells me I need to move my decimal point over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So I put the decimal point here, and just so everyone knows that's a decimal point, not just some little speck on my paper, I'm going to put a 0 in front of it. And there's my answer. So that's how you multiply a decimal by a decimal. You line them up, and then you multiply your way through. If it's a number that requires you to multiply twice, remember you move your over once, and then you do your multiplication. You end up adding your two rows of numbers together. You count up how many decimal places you need to move over, and you put your decimal point in your answer.